Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play the Tesla Effect. Well, you might note that we are in a slightly different place than we were before. Last time we stopped on day 4 and I had a paltry 4 bulbs to my PI rating. It is now day 6, we are back at the beach house. We've got 5 full stars here. And we've gone a bit beyond where we were when we had just gotten the picture of Margaret Leonard in our inventory. I have in fact gone through the whole investigating Margaret's apartment, questioning everybody in the neighborhood about her, going to Sesen, meeting up with Big Jim Slade, and dealing with the killer monks again, and come to this point. And why did I skip all this, you ask? Well, the truth is that in all of these bits, there's not very much in the way of conversation, and while you get some other options here and there, none of it is really funny enough or different enough to be worth showing. You've seen the gags in the first playthrough, you've seen most of them here. The wisecracks will be a little bit different from Tex, but the dialogue options you get from everybody else are completely different. There's no extra commentary from Smart Alex, and it's just going to be really tedious. And after the comments that I got on how me playing through the same sections of Pandora Directive was kind of repetitive and boring after you watch the first one, I'm taking that in mind, and I am going to skip through all of the parts of the game, the Sesen Temple, the beach house, or not the beach, well, we've already done the beach house, but Margaret Leonard's house in the swamp, and the Tesla Appreciation Legacy Society. We're skipping all of that, and we're only going to, from this point on, cover all of the little bits that are different and unique to the alternate paths that don't involve winding up with Chelsea. So to that end, we now have everything we need to bust Mason out of Sesen, so let us go ahead and travel back there.
Sesen, how are you today? How's everything going here at the camp? 4 clubs. 4 clubs. 4 clubs, Mason. Come on, wake up. Come on, don't be deaf, dumb, and stupid. Please, Mason, wake up. That's it. Come on.
Tex, where are we?
Good, you know me. Now start talking while I cut you free.
Is that the transinterrupter? What have you done?
Yeah, as you can see, our response doesn't really change the dialogue much, if at all.
Brought you back from Zombieland. These guys wiped your memory.
No, they didn't. I did!
What? Why the hell would you do that?
Oh, God. Now they can find out everything I know. How could you do this?
Oh, well, maybe because I want my memory back. Your friend said you're the only one who could help.
My friend?
Yeah, the one who came for the cryo chamber.
So he has it. The cryo chamber's safe?
Yes, he has it. So where do we get more serum? There was only 1 dose and you're safe. And what the hell's my trance key?
Margaret injected you. She's the only one who could have helped you.
Yeah, and she's dead. And I'm pretty sure her head was the main ingredient in that soup can of yours. Why'd you cut off her head?
I didn't. It was Maldonado. I don't think I could have done it.
Yeah, well, don't mince words. Because it was your idea.
Margaret double-crossed us. She came up with her own plan, but I think we stopped her before she could give it to the translator.
Well, you don't come across as totally insane.
She knew things, but she'd given up hope. However, some of us still believe. It wasn't fair of her to take those things to the grave. And I have the technology to tap what's inside her memories. Even after death.
Well, I stand corrected. You are insane.
You were in on it with us. We were all looking for the Tesla egg. But you're the one who found it in the wall of your apartment. I was still working from the inside, letting you all know what the translator was doing. By then, Margaret had stolen the egg and disappeared. I was afraid she'd switch sides, so I hired Maldonado to do surveillance on the Ritz, hoping she'd show up.
Yeah, and she did. She and that big mutant came by and injected me.
I caught up to her at the door of her apartment. All I wanted to do was talk, but she clutched her chest and collapsed. Dead before she hit the floor. Decapitation was the last resort.
So when does the abduction come in?
I called Maldonado just when the translator's henchmen arrived. Maldonado brought the cryo chamber while I created a diversion. While they were chasing me, he did the deed. Then I used the transinducer on myself. We'll rendezvous with my friend. We gotta find that egg before the translator does.
All right, but let's swing by and get your wife, too, because she's been worried sick about you.
My wife? I don't have a wife.
This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. How did I get here?
The cryo chamber. It holds your answers. Don't let him find it.
Welcome back, Tex. You certainly have a gift for making things interesting.
Yeah, it's a gift that just keeps on giving.
I assume you have no idea who we are.
Well, let me just save some time here. I have no memory of you or anything else since this bastard here shot me and my girlfriend 7 years ago.
Yes. Margaret made sure of that, didn't she? Willing to die just to keep you out of the equation, undermining me at every turn, right up until the end.
I need to know one thing. Did you kill Chelsea?
You could say that.
Don't move.
It's a long story, Tex. Maybe some other time.
Just tell me what happened to Chelsea.
Dalton, would you please answer Tex's question?
My pleasure. We'd stolen your speeder, of course. After I sedated you and Chelsea, you were taken to a place where we could search your memories for leads to Margaret Leonard's whereabouts. When that failed, I staged Chelsea's death, attempting to draw Leonard out of hiding. We left identifiable DNA inside your burned-out speeder.
Which, incidentally, was uninsured.
Leonard didn't fall for it, unfortunately. Eventually, we let Chelsea go, and I never saw her again.
This was all before I returned. I've never seen Chelsea.
I haven't seen her either. As far as you know.
Okay, well, last time we did the Hope for Chelsea option. Let's go for a connection to Margaret.
So what was Chelsea's connection with Margaret Leonard?
It doesn't matter now. Margaret's dead. Just like the man I used to be.
And you are?
I am the translator.
Is translating your profession or a hobby?
It is my mission and my destiny.
Well, I guess that makes 1,000,002 questions that I have. Everything would be a lot easier if you just unlocked my memory.
I would if I could, Tex, believe me. Unfortunately, Margaret took your trance key to her grave.
What? I'm supposed to believe that I'm on your guys' side for whatever's going on here?
That's right. We're all in this together.
We united in a common goal. It was a goal Margaret and I used to share many years ago. But she lost hope after I died.
You're Joe Hansen? Margaret Leonard's husband? The FBI agent who stole the Tesla cash?
I am. And I did. But when I learned what we'd taken from Tesla and buried in our vaults, what amazing technologies he had to offer the world, it became my dream to complete his work. But then I was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I had little time left, so we decided that I should be preserved in a cryogenic state, in hopes that a cure could be found someday.
But now you're here alive again, so who's the one who brought you back?
Margaret refused. She said it wasn't safe yet. I tried to pressure her, and she disappeared.
In the end, it was Mason who completed the reanimation.
So what's it like?
Indescribable. I saw eternity. And I returned with a renewed sense of purpose. I finally saw the true vision of Tesla's work.
So if Mason brought you back, why did he turn against you?
Margaret can be very persuasive. I think she convinced Mason that my work was too risky. But she couldn't convince you, Tex.
I'm a little lost here. Why do you need me?
Margaret held one last piece of the puzzle. The Tesla egg. It is the nucleus of the atom. Without it, the spirit radio has little effect. But with it, the veil between living and dead will vanish. And we will all exist within the immortal coil. We have work to do. You're free to go, Tex.
These guys must be playing some kind of mind trick on me. This has got to be a setup of some kind.
Tex, buddy, I'm afraid I haven't been totally straight with you. Over the last 7 years, you have become a lying, womanizing, duplicitous, two-timing cutthroat who plays both sides against the middle for money, and is partners with the gentleman who just left the room. I thought you could just walk away from the person you'd become, but I see that fate may have something else in mind.
So yeah, as you can see, the not much change in the dialogue here or the story. At least not until day 7, when we do get a chance to change things up.
After I returned from Sesen, I called Alt to tell him Mason Bowers had taken a 40-foot leap. The guy was so broken up, he hung up the phone. I'm not sure if Bowers' death ended Alt's interest in this whole sorry mess, but my gut tells me I'll need his help if I'm ever going to solve this case. I decided to visit St. Germain to find more information about the Tesla egg.
So, how goes the investigation? I don't suppose you have any news regarding that egg we talked about?
Well, everybody's talking about the Tesla egg, but I think I've got a lead on it.
Ah, the egg of Columbus. The copper egg. Unveiled by Tesla at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893, it was the very heart of a small prototype that, some say, would become his most notorious invention.
The everlasting
You
gobstopper?
seem underwhelmed, and that's not good.
You know the story of Tunguska?
Well, I do now.
If you believe, as many do, that the Tunguska explosion was caused by the Tesla death ray, and you believe that the Tesla egg is a core component of the death ray, well, then the egg would be of immense fortune. Tell me, what do you believe, Mr. Murphy?
I believe the children are our
You know a lot more
future.
than you're telling
Teach
me.
them well and let them lead the way.
Are you familiar with Paradise Lost?
Isn't that one of those resorts for swingers?
Paradise Lost is a poem about the great divide in heaven when Lucifer was cast out. After his banishment, Lucifer swore revenge and created an army of his own. He and his followers waited in darkness for their chance to strike back at the god who cast them out. After a 3-day battle against the faithful angels, the forces of evil were banished from heaven for all eternity.
Well, I like it when the good guys win.
Yes. But what if the war were not over? What if Lucifer had not been defeated, but lay in wait, preparing for his chance to overthrow heaven?
Did this suddenly turn to a Gabriel Knight
Debating
game?
hypothetical fairy tales a little nerdy for me.
And he collects comic books.
Look at the world around you. Did heaven win the battle? Man has created hell on earth. And the longer man exists, the further he descends from the wisdom and discernment needed to overcome the darkness. At his core, he is a grasping, clawing, foolish creature, willing to commit any sin to appease his base and greedy nature.
I thought I was jaded. You really think we're as bad as all that?
There are still some who give me hope. You, I'm not sure about. Your role, whether for good or evil, has yet to be determined.
I think Tex is more chaotic neutral than
Not so
anything.
bad. Does he have the egg?
No, my dear. Entirely the wrong egg. An interesting trinket, to be sure, but not the egg I'm searching for.
Well, if it isn't Ariel Bowers. You know, I hope I pronounced that correctly, because Bowers doesn't have a wife.
Great work, Detective. How long did that take to figure out?
Not long, after Bowers told me.
I have to confess, I haven't been totally honest with you on some things.
Just some?
I didn't know who you were when you first interrupted my own search of Bowers' place.
And what were you doing there?
I work for an organization you wouldn't have heard of.
Yes, we
based
would
out of
have.
St. Petersburg.
They called us earlier.
Russia.
How about you?
I don't work for anyone. Just the greater good. And my own little passions, of course. Ariel and I have crossed paths on several occasions. This time we seem to have some objectives in common, so we pooled our resources.
Yeah, I'm well familiar with Ariel's resources. How common are your objectives and mine?
That depends. You the kind of man who lets innocent people die?
Not normally, no.
You've heard of the Tesla Legacy Society. At one time, it had a membership of hundreds. After Charles Johansson died, the numbers dwindled. Some time ago, all those people vanished without a trace. I'd hoped to find some answers from Bowers.
Oh, I got news for you. He's not dead. He's back.
He's the translator, I presume.
The one building the immortal coil. You say you like it when the good guys win? You plan on doing anything about that?
Oh, sure. Leave it to me, as always. What are you two gonna do about it?
This is not my battle to fight.
He knows me. I won't be able to get close to him like you can.
You shall have to find the Tesla egg first. Of course.
Great. I didn't even think of that. Well, if you don't have any more helpful tips...
Until we meet again, Mr. Murphy. And something tells me we will.
Yeah, no we won't.
Until next time. Kiss for luck. You'll need it.
After visiting with St. Germain, the former Mrs. Bowers invites me to a place called the Resort and says she has information to exchange.
Along with bodily fluids.
Well, well. If it isn't Dudley Do-Right. Caught me red-handed.
And yes, in case you hadn't guessed, this is actually the most pivotal moment in the game as far as the diverging storylines go. There are, in fact, 5 points in the game which affect the ultimate ending. The first one is your conversation with Louis on day 1, where whether or not you immediately ask about Chelsea and what happened to her determines if you wind up on the path to look for Chelsea. You have to stick to that on day 2 when you talk to the police detective, and as he's grilling you about Maldonado's body, you have to ask, well, what about Chelsea's case? What happened to her? The third chance happens a day later when Taylor is in your office and you have the option of either telling her I kind of want to hold off till I get my memory back, I'm staying true to the girlfriend that I remember from 7 years ago, or no, please stay the night, really. Now, you remember from the first time we played through this that we stayed loyal to Chelsea. We, told Ariel, thank you, but no. We told Taylor, thank you, but no. And it did wind up paying off for us in the end. But I'm sure you're wondering, what happens if we give in to Ariel? What happens if we give in to Taylor? And for some of you, is there any way we can play both sides against the middle, literally in this case? Well, that is a question that we are going to answer next time. And then we are also going to jump ahead, skip through all of the other little playthrough areas in the game, and we will see the other endings of the Tesla effect. All this and more next time. I'll see you then.